नमस्कार दोस्तों। आज के इस संडे के 11 बजे के एपिसोड में आप लोग का हार्दिक स्वागत, अभिनंदन है। आज का शो थोड़ा डिफरेंट है, थोड़ा नहीं, आज का शो बहुत ज़्यादा डिफरेंट है, क्योंकि आज हम बहुत लीक से हट के जो हम बात करते हैं आज उस पर बात करेंगे। और लीक से हटने से एक और चीज़ आपको बता दूं कि आज हम बात करेंगे खेती की, कि कैसे खेती करनी चाहिए, लेकिन वो खेती की पद्धति जो आज तक शायद कईयों ने नहीं सुना होगा। मैंने भी शायद तकरीबन 3-4 साल पहले इस शब्द से मेरे को ज्ञात हुआ। इस शब्द का नाम है पर्माकल्चर। तो पर्माकल्चर क्या चीज़ है? परमानेंट एग्रीकल्चर को पर्माकल्चर कहा जाता है। बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग कॉन्सेप्ट है और बहुत मज़ेदार चीज़ है, और इससे हमारे फ्यूचर का डायरेक्ट रिलेशनशिप होने वाला है, आपको समझ में आएगा। ये हमारे फ्यूचर के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा आवश्यक है, और जो लोग जागरूक हैं, जो किसान, वो इसको अपना चुके हैं, अपना रहे हैं। और इसीलिए आज हम इस पे बात करेंगे एक ऐसे एक्सपर्ट से जो इस फील्ड में 30 साल से हैं और भारत के तमिलनाडु में ये खेती कर रहे हैं इस पद्धति से। लेकिन इंटरेस्टिंग बात ये है कि ये मूल भारतीय निवासी नहीं है। ये इंग्लैंड से यहाँ पर आए थे और यहीं के होके रह गए, और इनकी हिंदी थोड़ी ठीक है, लेकिन हम चाहते हैं कि हम उनका जो पूरा व्यूज है हम समझ सकें। इसलिए जैसा मैंने बोला, आज का शो थोड़ा और डिफरेंट होगा। ये शो इंग्लिश में करेंगे हम। इसके सबटाइटल्स आपको बाद में आपको दिखेंगे, जो रिकॉर्डिंग के बाद हिंदी में आप कर सकते हैं सिलेक्ट, और इसको शो का आप आनंद उठाएं। मैं चाहता हूँ कि फ्री फ्लो ये शो हो, इसलिए शो इंग्लिश में होगा, लेकिन आपको सबटाइटल्स बाद में मिल जाएंगे। तो मेरे को बहुत खुशी हो रही है आज का ये शो में वेलकम करते हुए कृष्णा मैकेंजी। उन्होंने अपना नाम भी कृष्णा रख लिया है। कृष्णा भाई नमस्कार एंड वेलकम टू द शो।
सभी को मेरा नमस्कार।
बहुत खुशी हो रही है। सो विल डू द शो इन इंग्लिश सो दैट आई वांट योर everything to come out, so that, because that's my, the main reason I want to do show is that I want to enrich people with the experts like you when they come there with their knowledge. So first of all,
Thank you so
Krishna,
much, Abhi. Dhanyavad.
you don't look like Krishna. I mean, you're not from India, so how come this name, your journey?
Don't look outside, look inside.
That's what I want to know now. So let's start this. So where did this all start from? Like your love for India, even you adopted this name. So want to please let us know your journey, how it started.
So as a child, my mother was devotee of Osho. She took the sannyas with Osho. And in my house, there were photos of all the gurus. Muktananda, uh, Anandamai Ma from Bengal, and Ramana Maharishi, Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, all these gurus were there. And my mother was an avid reader. So she had two huge bookshelves full of books, full of spirituality, Kundalini yoga, and, this and that. And so many books were there. By the age of 13, I had already read books on Sufism. I was very interested in Sufism. And then at the age of 15, I attended Jiddu Krishnamurti School in England for 4 years. When I was at that school, a friend of Jiddu Krishnamurti, a multimillionaire called Friedrich Grohe, he paid for our school and he paid for the school in California to come to India and meet up with the other Krishnamurti schools. And we spent 4 weeks here. I think it's not charging, by the way. We spent 4 weeks here visiting all the different Krishnamurti schools in India, in Banaras, in Andhra Pradesh, Rishi Valley, the Valley School in Bangalore, and the school in Chennai. And then I stayed on and I spent 3 weeks in a NGO project in Karnataka in Raichur and also in Sirsi. And I experienced truly rural India back in the in 1990, how rural India was in Raichur. I had never seen what poverty was actually in villages there. People living in one mud hut with goats and donkeys and cow and a chula, no windows. It's like And that moved me very much being in India. In fact, I felt when I arrived here, I felt like I'd come back home. It was very special to for me to be here. And I got a culture shock actually, but not coming to India. I got culture shock going back to England because I felt that there was, I guess, in retrospect, I guess I felt that there in England there was no culture. England was very dry, and it lacked, yeah, it lacked a spark. Lacked a warmth. That sense of in India when you come to someone's house and they say "बैठेंगे chai पियेंगे," that welcome, that warmth, that love. You don't see that in England. There are 200 houses on one side of the road, 200 houses on the other side of the road, and there is like 200 roads like that, and everyone's locked in their house watching the same TV channel. So there's no sense of togetherness. And yeah, so that was my start. And then I came to Oroville in January 93. I came to live in Oroville and started farming.
Nice. So your name Krishna. So were you born in India or were you born in England?
I was born in England.
Okay. So and your birth name was Krishna or you changed your name?
You Have you read Romeo and Juliet by Shakespeare?
I have in my school
So
days.
in there's a line where Romeo says to Juliet, what is because the families are fighting because one is the Capulets, one is the Montagues, and he says, what is in a name? A
Yeah.
rose by any other name will still smell as sweet. So
Yeah.
don't focus on the name. It's not important.
Okay. All right. Excellent. So now coming to the topic of the day, permaculture. Not many people from my channel would know. Even I did not know about permaculture about like till 4 5 years ago. I've been researching it, and I'm glad that I found you on Instagram one day, wearing that turban, famous turban of yours, and in your garden with the jackfruit. And I was planning to do that, do more training, and I got in touch with you, and I did my training, like online training completed yesterday, I think day before yesterday. But most of my viewers would not know about permaculture. So, what is permaculture? What is the difference between permaculture and conventional farming, or organic farming, or sustainable farming? So, how is it different?
So I think permaculture has emerged as as a result, as a sort of a solution or a reaction to the incredible um, myopia of industrialized agriculture, where we've reduced, growing food only to economic gain, monocultures, chemicals, hybrid seeds, loss of soil ecology, soil fertility, pollution, and massive loss of water bodies. Um, loss of biodiversity, loss of traditional foods. Like in Tamil Nadu, everyone eats potatoes, carrots, beetroots, cauliflower, and cabbage, but traditionally none of those foods grew here. So loss of traditional foods, and you see a solution was needed, to try and bring us back to something that is sustainable, that has a future, because obviously industrialized agriculture, with its incessant demand for profits and more, is obviously a huge con for the average man, because actually the only people who make money from that are the top of the pyramid, the CEO of Monsanto and big companies. Some guy sitting in Florida. The average farmer in India is constantly making a loss. I mean, we can see that with the very, very sad and desperate suicide rates between farmers. So, obviously our relationship with Mother Nature and growing
Your audio is cut out. Krishna, your audio is cut out. Krishna, we can't hear you. We can't hear you, man. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Sorry about that. So अभी हम वापस जुड़ते हैं. आप लोग को मेरी आवाज आ रही है? क्योंकि मुझे कृष्णा की आवाज आनी बंद हो गई थी. प्लीज कमेंट करेंगे आप लोग जो लोग देख रहे हैं इस टाइम लाइव. मेरी आवाज आ रही है कि नहीं आपको? प्लीज यस और नो. मेरी आवाज आ रही है? यस और नो. यस, मेरी आवाज आ रही है. सुदेव जी कह रही है. भगवान जी भी कह रहे हैं. हाँ, तो यस, तो ये जैसे बोल रहे थे, हम तो उससे एग्री नहीं करते हैं कि भाई शेक्सपियर ने कहा था कि वर्ड्स इन द नेम. हम तो मानते हैं कि नाम में बहुत कुछ रखा है. नाम ही तो सब कुछ है. फिर तो गधे का नाम घोड़ा रहेंगे तो घोड़ा थोड़ी बन जाएगा. बट सबका अपना व्यू पॉइंट है. लेट्स सी अभी वापस आते हैं कि नहीं. सो बेसिकली पर्मा कल्चर, जैसा मैंने बता रहा था, अभी वो बताएंगे आपको. पर्मा कल्चर क्या हो गया कि परमानेंट एग्रीकल्चर. सो यस, वी कैन हियर यू नाउ.
Some technical problem, I don't know what that was. So I guess permaculture is an effort to rediscover something very fundamental about our relationship with Mother Nature. So if you look at a forest, you'll see plants occupying different strata. Like there are ground covers, and there are small shrubs and big shrubs and small trees and big trees, and there are creepers hanging in the trees, and there are plants growing all in between that. And permaculture is an exploration of these relationships and man's relationship with his ecology. It also explores the relationship, with of water and topography. How to look at water management and erosion, how to look at building with natural materials, how to look at alternative energies like windmills and solar and biogas. It's looking at social ecology, a social permaculture. Like, I think very much what you're doing today, this education is very much part of a social permaculture. So permaculture is exploring man and his ecology. I would say more than permaculture, we are practicing something called natural farming or non-interventional farming, where we recognize that nature's already perfect. You can't improve nature. If you look at nature, and how it's grown and how ancient India is, you can see that the Vedas came because people understood the local foods that grew around, and thus they had a body. They had Annamaya Kosh. Then from Annamaya Kosh, they a body, they got mind, Manamaya Kosh. And then from the mind comes language. And language is the vehicle of culture. So all our culture, all our identity with where we live is actually based in a relationship with where the food comes from, and that goes back to the soil. So what we're doing in solitude is creating a food forest, looking at non-interventional farming, recognizing that the soil is alive, millions of microorganisms, mold, bacteria, insects, earthworms, fungi, small animals, and the mycelium. And that life is Bhumi Devi. That life is a divinity. And you can't improve upon that. You bring your tractor and your combine and your chemicals and your hybrid seeds, you will only lose well-being. And as you lose well-being, you lose culture and you create lifestyle diseases. So actually, All our well-being lies in the well-being of the soil. And permaculture and the natural farming, non-interventional farming is all about doing less. It's about recognizing that that heart of Bhumi Devi is the buddhi of this earth, and from there, if you leave it and don't disturb it, she will offer you abundance.
Beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, so basically, in simple terms, where my viewers can understand. So basically, permaculture is letting the nature grow on itself, just giving it the right atmosphere, and that's exactly what I say about our gut. That give the gut their natural environment, and the gut will flourish. Gut microbiome will diversify, and diversification is the main thing I've been teaching for gut microbiome, and that's what exactly Krishna has been teaching through permaculture, that it has to be diversified. So your diversification thing, Krishna, it amazed me with your class on food forest. So food forest, please tell us more about, like, my viewers, about food forest, and why do we need all different kind of fruit growing trees, different herbs and flowers. Everything comes so beautifully when you tell this in the class.
So when you start a food forest, like if imagine your the people here in this show today, we started a food forest tomorrow. No, we meet in we go and meet in UP and we start a food forest. The first thing we'll do is plant fruit trees, because the fruit trees are the infrastructure of the farm. They're the long duration plants. They will last a very long time. And then you start with the medium duration, things like bananas, papayas, the drumstick, the moringa, the sesbania, pineapple, tapioca, some of the yams, they last 1 year. Then you go for the 7 month crops, the haldi, the soran, the arbi. Then you go for the normal vegetables, pumpkin, the loki, tomato, bangan, all of that stuff. Then you go for the sag, all the spinaches. Those are very, very fast to grow. And then you have a whole range of plants which are called edible weeds. So traditionally, all over India, you will find the old ladies, the women would be going in the field with to graze the goats and the cows. In the evening, they'll come back to the house. In the sari will be stuffed full of greens, edible, various edible weeds. In Tamil, they have names, like we call Tudavale, Ponangani, Mordakan, Navarakere, Satnikere, all these different spinaches. And they all have medicinal values. So these spinaches in Tamil Nadu, of course, in the city where everyone is busy with C++, they're not so remembered. But in villages, they're still known. And those spinaches, they are very much the fabric of a cultural identity. And they all have medicinal value. Like Mortakan, the balloon vine is good for your joints. The Ponangani is good for your eyes. That's because it's good for your liver, cleaning the blood, cooling the body. The Tudavali is good for respiratory diseases. Everything has a value. The Brahmi is good for your brain. Everything has a value. And you start to see this proverb, I don't know how it is in Hindi, but in Tamil we say, "Unuveve maranda." Food is medicine. And you start to see, hey, it's really true. And then throughout the food forest, oh, the banana stem is for my kidneys. The mango leaf is good for neurons. The guava leaf is good for reverse diabetes. The soursop, the Laxman file is good for cancer. Everything has a value. Even there is the things like the dopamine bean, the ponakali, the black velvet bean. That's 4 to 7% L-dopa, precursor to dopamine. So there is our farm is not only farm; it's a food forest. It's a pharmacy. Farm is pharmacy, and um, and you start to recognize that this biodiversity is a reflection of almost sort of like dimensions. Like it starts in the soil with millions and millions of microorganisms. I think it's as much as there are stars in the universe. And then you have and then the mycelium, the mold, the bacteria, the insects, the earthworms, small animals. That diversity is the energy of Bhumidev. It's manifested energy, Shakti, in a certain, forms. Some of them you can't see, but there are forms. And then it transfers into plants. Then that energy of Shakti transforms into fruit and vegetables and leaves and various other formats that we can consume. Then we eat that, then we have a body. Then we transform that Shakti, that Prakriti into Anamaya Kosh, you know. And so thus we really are what we eat. So the more you leave the soil alone, the more you stop disturbing the soil and have diversity in the soil, diversity of crops, there becomes a very natural balance. And I think this word diversity, as you mentioned, it's the key word. Like, I think if Mother Nature, if Bhumi Devi had a business card, it would be written Mother Nature, biodiversity. She's represented by so much, infinite diversity. And leaving it alone is again the key. My guru who inspired me to do all this work is a Japanese Zen master Jnani farmer called Masanobu Fukuoka, who wrote the very famous book The One Straw Revolution. And his whole philosophy is do nothing farming. So do nothing farming means, you know and Bhumidev, there is a buddhi there. You can't, don't disturb it, and it will manifest. And it's the same for your gut biome. If you just keep, adding the right things, gut biome will be perfectly fine. And it's the same in education. If you leave kids to explore and give them nature and give them trees to climb and food to cook and games to play, they will naturally grow well. And I think that this philosophy of doing nothing is being represented through education and different and healthcare and farming and various other forms. It's a very wise and intelligent way of exploring life, doing less.
Beautiful. So yes, so you were talking about that Tamil proverb. You were saying, well, I don't know what you say. You were asking in Hindi, but
Food is
people,
medicine.
yeah, yeah, but people should know that father of modern medicine, Hippocrates said, "Let food be thy medicine." And
uh,
Western medicine has forgotten that proverb, like forgotten that quote. And the first show I did with Doctor, the great legend of my our viewership, our India, Dr. Avdesh Pandey. The first show I did on the channel with him was on "Let food be thy medicine" and medicine be thy food. So we have forgotten that, and it's kind of, I feel proud for you as well, Krishna. But it's kind of sad that people of India, people of Bharat, has forgotten that culture that we used to grow everything, and we have become a monoculture, monocrop culture kind of nation now. And Krishna is doing a great job in educating us. But that's the core of this permaculture thing, that you have to get into diversification and let nature
yeah, I
thrive on
mean that's
itself.
that's
Give
partly
it the
because
just
the how we been conditioned, and I think it's the remnants of a colonial past, which have not been fully rejected, like the education system.
true.
We make kids sit for 15 years in a classroom. We make them study
Yes,
all sorts of nonsense. Like, for example, everyone here in this class, in this Ajit Sir's class, you please consider how much you learned in math, algebra, calculus, blah, 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 blah. How much do you actually need of math in your daily life? You need some fractions, you need some little bit, ratios, some calculation, plus minus multiplication division. It can be learned in couple of months for the life. But we
yes,
study, we push our kids till they need glasses because their eyes have gone, till their backs are broken carrying bags to tuition, but we don't teach them how to grow a tomato. We don't teach them the value of our ancient culture, what our grandmas know. And they still
Yes.
know it in India. Grandmas
Yeah.
still know that, have that knowledge, but not for much longer. Another 5, 10, 15, 20 years, that knowledge will be very much forgotten. So I think there's an urgency here because India can't afford to lose this. India's the Sri Aurobindo said India is the mother of the world. It's the spiritual guide, teacher of the world. And if you negate nature, you negate God. That
So
that's
true.
as
Wow.
simple as that. You can't go and pray to the God in this temple and then pollute the nature. It's the two is one. Without the Shakti, there is no,
Shankar.
there is no there is no push.
Yes. Exactly right. Yes. And that's the exact reason, I'm quitting my job from Australia and coming back to India to do this farming, because I think I keep saying this. We have just got like 20, 30 years left. If we don't act now, you know, I see it from the gut microbiome point of view. I read that one of the UN reports, Sadhguru keeps talking about that the soil will lose its potency to even, have a simple crop in 20, 30 years time. The way we are, making, chemical infected soil, and so the earth is losing everything. It has all the power to grow anything.
Mhm.
And the same thing is true with humans, because we see IVF centers all around and we don't understand. We think it's sign of modern medicine. It's not. It's a sign of that, we are going towards extinction. And that's
Yeah, we
exactly.
we've been tricked, Ajit. We've been tricked, because I think the way I got started in this is I recognized, for example, in Tamil Nadu, Tamilians are very proud of their culture, and so they should be. And that culture is traced back to the local foods. So I started talking about those local foods, and I was pressing the button, of the pride of their culture. India has so much knowledge. We don't need knowledge from outside.
Yeah.
If the culture is like, I don't know, some people put Vedas at 20,000 years, others more. So if it's that old, if it's so antique, our culture in India, how it grew with the foods that were there. Those are not sufficient. Oh no, now we need to import this, and now we need to, if you go to the bazaar in Pondicherry and you ask the bazaar, the shopkeeper, oh, and the makkah, where did that makkah come from? He'll tell you it's from Argentina. If you ask where did that urid dal come from, he'll tell it's from Burma. Where did the tur dal come from? It's from Africa. My God, what is that? What is that? And it's not about teaching kids agriculture. You teach kids agriculture, you go to agriculture universities. I meet many kids, master's degree, agriculture. Do you know what their job is when they leave agricultural college? It's to sell chemicals.
Yes.
40,000 a year, 40,000 rupees a month, entry job, sell chemicals. And when they sell the chemical, they'll cheat the farmers. They know that this chemical is soluble and it has a certain, a maximum absorption. And after that amount, after a certain amount of grams, it won't absorb anymore. Still, they
Yeah.
keep selling it. Farmers are being cheated and on many levels. Rather than government standing and saying, "Yeah, be Indian, buy Indian." Like, let's focus on India. So first thing to be India is what's Indian foods. Let's encourage farmers and help farmers to grow Indian foods. Let's get those foods in midday meal scheme.
Yeah.
And if you get those foods in midday meal scheme, in one generation we will address lifestyle diseases. In
Very
one
well said.
generation we will have a statistic about climate change, climate resilience. And in one generation we will breed empathy, because what we've lost when we've lost our relationship with where our food comes from is we've lost cultural identity. And cultural identity is a collective value that gives resonance and empathy in a society. And that if a society has empathy, that society won't go to war. That
Yes.
society has intelligence. you know So
Beautiful. Yes.
there's a very deep reason to do all this thing. It's not only about economics, and even it's not only about health. It's about the, something very important.
It's about our survival, Krishna. It's the core of our living and being alive. It's the core of culture. The basic meaning of culture. The word comes from, I think, a Greek word, kontos, something. I know it means to guard. Something which grows on your land, you're guarding it. And as you rightly said, the food grows on that land, on that part of the land, and whatever grows around it, that's where the culture evolved. I mean, the local thinking, the art, the music, and the sitting around that food which is grown on the local land over there, and you are having a community lunch together, as you said, that as we told everyone in the class, have a fair community festival. And we have forgotten that we are eating food like we are just running around. We are having sandwiches in our hands. We are trying to imitate Western world, that that's how they do, and that's how we will do. And that's sad, because as you rightly said, you understand that, but we Indians are running away from that. Sanatan is nature, and it's the only living civilization we can trace from the beginning of the humankind till now. But as you said, the colonial mindset has not gone away, and most of the Indians feel inferior. They feel superior when they speak English, while they feel inferior speaking their own language. And that's where I give credit to Tamilian people. They speak Tamil, even if they know Hindi, they won't speak Hindi.
Very
That's a
proud of their language.
different topic. But we have forgotten that intelligence which you rightly said our dadi and nani had that, and we have just like 20-30 years left now. And that's why it's time to awaken up of society, and let food be thy medicine. We know this thing, but we are moving away. The produce we are eating, the mineral deficiency. I keep saying this. We are calorie rich people, calorie rich society, and minerally deficient people now. And that's the reason.
100% calorie rich and minerally deficient, yeah, nutritionally deficient.
Nutritionally deficient, yes, because there are no
Yeah.
minerals and vitamins left in the, because there are no
And it
microorganisms.
reflects in our it reflects in our souls, unfortunately. It
Wow, it
reflects
reflects.
in our lack of compassion, our lack of empathy, you know.
Yeah. So
So
the one thing,
fortunately, people like you, Ajit, are doing something, and I'm sure there's many people in your class who are here because they also carry that in their heart, and I'm sure many people, will stand up and do something, and maybe create change with their family, with their neighbors, with their school, maybe with their colleagues, with their friends groups, and I think that's enough. If everyone encourage one, two, three, four other people, even just their family, that's already a big step, no?
yes, yes, that's, and you said one thing. I keep saying it, a butterfly effect, that even with a flap of a butterfly somewhere, a thunderstorm can be formed, and it happens. You gave another very beautiful example. I think it was one straw revolution thing you were talking about. That one straw of rice in the field can bring so much of life into the field. So we tend to forget that it's not my job. Even if I do some this kind of stuff, it's not going to make a difference. It does.
It
Every single
does.
thing we do, it makes a difference. As Krishna says in the Gita, that you know people tend to follow someone who do a good job in the society. So you be that person, so that people can see that this is a good thing being done in the society. So other people will follow that, and that's
And
why
don't think about the answer. Don't think about the result. As Krishna say in Gita, do your karma, do your dharma, do your duty, and don't look at the result. You know it's right. You do
yes,
it. The God will take care of the rest. No.
exactly. Okay, so coming back to the permaculture again, because the topic discussing this with you is fantastic. It's very enriching to my heart and soul, because this kind of discussion having with you is making me feel proud of being an Indian as well. And that's the sad part, that we forget that. And anyways, so coming back to permaculture thing, in the class you mentioned one phrase, chop and drop, mulching, do everything, and then you always say and mulch. So it's so important. Mulching is so important for farming. But again, the conventional farming we are doing, the farmers doing in India, they've forgotten that mulching. They keep putting chemicals. They don't tend the soil. So why mulching is so important? And enlighten us, our viewers, Krishna. It's
So
so
when
important.
we in our farm there's over 200, maybe 250 edible plants in the field, and in between those plants are many plants that we grow simply to chop and drop. We're returning the food back to the soil. But in permaculture, there's always multiple benefits of something. So if you grow a plant like the Mexican sunflower, which is grown for chop and drop to feed the soil, the plant is also a pollinator. The plant is also a windbreak. The plant is also a structure which other plants will climb up. And then when you cut, chop, and drop, you're feeding the soil, but you're also suppressing weeds. You're also reducing the soil temperature. You're creating a carbon sink. You're reducing erosion with heavy rain not hitting directly onto the soil. So it comes back to this thing in natural farming that Fukuoka said, only a fool will understand nature. Man can't have with his cleverness, he does his PhD, he doesn't understand all the multiple, values. Like, for example, I used to say, yeah, chop and drop, feed the soil, suppress the weeds. And then I realized, oh, yeah, it's also suppressing evaporation. Oh, it's reducing temperature. Then someone else mentioned, oh, it's a carbon sink. Oh, yeah. And then they mentioned, oh, and these plants are pollinator. Oh, yeah. You don't realize it all. It's like this story in America where they introduced, I think, some 10, 12 wolves into the Yellowstone National Park. And the wolves started to hunt the deer, and the deer were overgrazing the grass next to the river. And then, as the deer were hunted, they moved away from the river, and the grass grew. And because the grass grew, the rabbits came back. Because the grass was giving them like camouflage, no protection. And then, when the rabbits came back, the fox came back, and then this came back, and then that, and eventually the beaver came back, and the beaver started to make dams across the river, and the shape of the river returned back to normal. The erosion of the river stopped. How can a man understand all of that? you know so chop and drop is like feeding the most fundamental aspect of the system, which is the soil, which is the Annamaya Kosh is actually starts in the soil. So if you feed that again with diversity, banana stems, Mexican sunflower, gliricidia, leaves, dry weeds, dry grass, anything, everything, keep throwing it back to the soil. That soil will become so diverse in its nutritional, quality. And you start to see, hang on, that nutrition isn't a separate subject. That nutrition is equally the structure of the soil. And the more complex the soil structure, the more retention of water, the more porosity, the more easy it is for nutrition to move through the soil, because nutrition is moved through the soil via water and subtle structures, ribosomes, different structures from microorganisms and stuff. So you see that we don't understand the soil, and you can't understand the soil. Fukuoka said only baka. Baka is Japanese word for fool. Only fool will understand the nature. Stop trying to think you know something. Even your gut microbiome, you don't know it. You can't know it. Far too complex. But you understand what you shouldn't do. You understand how to nurture it. It's exactly the same as the soil. I think that's why we are having this together today, no? Because the parallel is so obvious. And actually the gut microbiome starts in the soil. If the soil is not healthy, how will your gut microbiome be healthy? Everything is connected on that level. So mulching and chop and drop, returning organic matter is it's the first and the last technique of any farming, actually.
Beautifully said, first and last. Yes, you stole my line. That's what I keep saying, that unless we don't save the soil, we can't save our health. Unless the soil microbiome is not healthy, forget about being our gut healthy. And that's the reason, Krishna, that I planning to quit my job and come here, because for me, whatever I'm saying, I have to do it. Just sitting in my air conditioned drawing room somewhere in Australia, and that's just preaching that unless soil health is not restored, your health is not going to be restored. So I had to take this step, because the one line I keep thinking about is that for the next generation, if I can't look into their eyes and say that yes, I knew that unless soil health is not fixed, our health is not going to be fixed, or even our future is not going to be, we are not going to survive for more. So that's why I'm taking this step, that we have to do that. We have to start doing it, no matter how small that contribution is going to be. So I keep saying this, आप जब तक अपने सॉइल को नहीं बचाएंगे, आप अपने हेल्थ को नहीं बचा सकते. So you're so beautifully put that your guru that you keep talking about, that only a fool can understand the nature. And the same, I just when you're telling this, I remember this story from Australia, that Australian government decided way back, I think 30, 40 years ago, that we have to bring exotic plants and animals into Australia. And from there, from India, they, guess what they took manna bird, and the manna bird is a bit aggressive, and it started displacing the native birds from there. And it so happened that the natural insects and bugs which were present there, they had the ecological balance started in disproportionate way. And so much so that Australian government has decided that they are going to exterminate manna from Australia now. So that's exactly the point. Only a fool can understand the nature. So let nature thrive on its own. Just give it what the nature is made up of. You don't have to interfere. You don't have to put your chemicals. As Krishna keeps saying, that just chop and drop. Just give it the natural thing it has been feeding upon for millennials.
And
Now to
that
the
means even if you have some plants on your balcony, collect leaves, put them inside the pot.
yeah.
Collect some gobar, some cow dung, dry one, put it on top of the pot. Collect some dry grass, put it on top of the pot. If you find some straw left by the where the cows are grazing, put it on top of the pot. All of this will create the health of the soil. Many people ask me, "Oh, Krishna, my plant has this problem, my plant has that problem." I say it's all because of the soil, obviously. So put the organic matter, the mulch on top of your pots in your balconies, and that's a very good step for your plants.
Yes, so that was my next logical question was going to be from you, Krishna, because in my class as well on my YouTube channel, I've been recommending people to grow at least 3, 4 vegetables in their homes, in their balconies. They can have pots and they can grow it, and from that do fermentation and see how much difference it makes in your health. And people have been doing it, and people have been swearing by it, that oh my God, my health has started changing after I grew my own vegetable and started fermenting at home. So my next question to you was, Krishna, that someone living in an apartment in Noida or in Delhi or Pune or Bangalore, what would you recommend? They can't do permaculture, but they've got two questions to it, two parts of this question. That if someone do want to do permaculture, how much minimum land they want, they can start this food forest, so they can have diverse food and vegetables for their own family or maybe friends. Second part, if they can't do it, like how can they implement this permaculture principle living in an apartment, say in any metropolitan city in India, or so
So
in
I
a
think if you live in an apartment and you have flower pots, the best thing to grow is edible weeds, no doubt. Just grow different types of sag. Eat sag every day. Put in your roti, bajra roti, sag ke saath achhe hai. Or
say,
and then put the sag mix with your arbi. Put sag mix with your aloo if you eat aloo. Put sag mixed in into a soup. Put sag in everything and grow it on your balcony. We in our nursery we sell edible weeds. So we have traditional weeds that you can plant. We even courier them to people if people are interested. But you can also find those where you live. Maybe in Delhi it will be more challenging. But actually, I did a pop up in Gogaon in this vegan cafe called Greeners. And we went to some place. My son was doing a football course, a training in Gogaon. And near there were the many farms, weekend farms. People have these small farms. So one person was growing that, and I went there and I collected all the things needed for the pop up in this Greeners cafe. So they have many things there. They will know many things there. Maybe visiting those farms, trying to find things. I think that's a very good way to go and get those edible weeds. Um, yeah.
Second part
The
of my
next
question.
thing, the next thing would be, if you want to start permaculture, I mean, you start on any land. If you have 2 meters squared, then do it on 2 meters squared. Put some cluster beans, some bendi, some this, some that, mulch the ground, you know, plant everything, put one papaya, just start. Don't think too much. Dig some holes, put some compost, plant your seeds, plant your seedling, cover it with straw and leaves, and plant more seeds and keep with it. Be with it every day. Time is the currency. Time is currency. How much time you give to the how much time, Ajit, you gave to this workshop, that's how much benefit you got. Some
True.
people didn't attend the whole class. They got less benefit, sure. you know so the more time you give to spending with those plants, the more benefit it will be. But I advise to plant edible weeds, because they are the ones that you will grow and you won't fail. There's no chance of failure, you know and they are all documented. You can research, like go on ChatGTP, people now, and go and write what edible weeds were traditionally eaten in the Delhi bioregion, what traditional weeds were eaten in UP area, in UP, in Western UP, in Lucknow side, or in Eastern UP, you know, in Bihar, what were the traditional weeds? Find out. Find out. Look at the photo. Do your research. Put your effort in. Then go and ring your grandma. If you have a grandma, go and ring her. You know, Nani, Nani, no, in Hindi, no.
Nani,
What did you eat this as a child? Do you know this? Look at this photo. Is it good? Yeah, and she'll say, very good. Do it like this, do it like that, have this, put a bit of mustard oil, this, that. That's how you have to go back. This is a road back to nature. It doesn't land on your lap by watching a podcast. At the end of the day, it's your effort to
true.
retrace that, to refine that cultural nutritional heritage. But it's there. It's there in India. There are many people like me doing this, people who know much, much more than me. I'm just an Angrezi. I know a little bit. But there are people there in India who know it from their blood. They know
Yes.
it in their DNA. So
DNA,
those
yeah.
are the people. You research them, find them out. Who is working in India on ecology and edible weeds? Who is working on in India on nutrition and this and traditional foods? Find out. You contact them. There must be books written. There must be PDFs done for this in colleges, in universities. The knowledge is there if you go and get it, and then find those plants and then plant those plants.
Yes, yes, beautiful.
Like, for
So,
example, we plant not so much normal bendi that you have, ladies finger. We plant a ladies finger that is a giant 4 meter tall ladies finger.
wow.
It's called Burmese ladies finger, and it's a
Burmese.
little bit thin, lot shorter. It's a little bit fatter, and it's very nice, and it gives a huge crop to us. But it takes like 4.5 months to grow.
People don't have
But
patience.
when you grow that, and when it dies, the beans will grow up it. It's a
Yeah.
structure for beans. So
Yes.
there's you can learn about permaculture by talking about it, but the only real learning is if you grow it yourself,
Yes.
you know.
Yes, well said. Yeah, you said that you are enraged, but see one of the comments I got. और मैं आप लोगों से रिक्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ, प्लीज आस्क योर क्वेश्चंस. आप लोग हिंदी में पूछ सकते हैं. आई कैन आस्क इन इंग्लिश फ्रॉम कृष्णा. सो व्हाइल यू आर सेइंग दैट आप अंग्रेजी हो, सुशील कुमार जी फ्रॉम दिल्ली इज, एंड यू आर आल्सो टॉकिंग अबाउट बिहार. ही इज फ्रॉम बिहार एज वेल. He said that while Krishna is a foreigner by his appearance, but his soul is 100% Indian, and he says salute to Krishna, sir. And
दिल में भारत है बस हम.
दिल में भारत है भाई साहब. Yes, and he's also saying कि मैंने अपने बालकनी में करी पत्ता, लेमन ग्रास, पुदीना, एलोवेरा लगाया है. So he's saying that he has planted already and he is doing fantastic. He was suffering from H. pylori. He used all these techniques which I teach online, and he's got into remission. And it's only because of his lifestyle and the food he's been eating now. So,
Nice.
so friends, I would like to let you know that Krishna is multi-talented. He is not only permaculturist. He's a guitarist. He's a band player. He's a rock star actually, and so and Krishna loves to teach people. And he has, as he said, that he has seeds. So I encourage you all. If you want any seeds, Krishna, I will give you all the details in next 5 minutes. We'll talk about that. And he runs online training, and I did the training. I keep saying this: education is an investment. Education on your health is investment. It's not an expenditure. Please learn these things. So those who are interested, even 1%, I will recommend highly to go and enroll in Krishna's online class. He has also he does hands-on workshop as well. So I would ask you, Krishna, where is your solitude farm? Please tell us something about solitude farm, because one
So
aspect of that farm, just one
Solitude is
second.
a
So
5-acre farm in the international township of Oroville.
just a second. So Krishna also runs his own restaurant, and the kind of food you will get to eat in that restaurant, I have read that. I keep doing research. So he is, fantastic. You go to his restaurant, and you are bound to, feel, oh my God, you are going to be blown away by his, culinary skills as well. So Krishna, what else you can't do? Like, you are all over the place. You're displacing Indians like us. We can't cook, we
I
can't do
mean,
anything.
the
You
the
are.
thing
You
is,
know.
the thing is, in a food forest, you can't sell the produce that you grow because people don't buy banana stem, people don't buy jungly mangan. They want carrot, beetroot, potato, and that and cauliflower, cabbage. But the traditional foods that we grow, and last year we grew 15 tons of food from 4.5 acres.
Wow.
15 tons, 4.5 acres. No machinery, no chemicals. So those foods you can't sell, but if you cook them, people come and eat it. Like yesterday, a lot of people came to the cafe to eat. We have food, we have people coming every day to the cafe. And there are people from Delhi, from Bangalore, from Hyderabad, from Mumbai, from Chennai, from all over India. And a lot of foreigners and a lot of NRIs as well. They come from Dubai, Australia, America, and they say, "Oh, we saw you on Instagram. We wanted to come and eat the food. It's amazing." Blah blah blah. These are all edible weeds. These are all foods that grow without effort. These are all foods that reflect a culture. These are all foods that have no carbon footprint. These are all foods that are Ayurveda and Siddha tradition.
Yeah.
These are the colors of Bhumi Devi, you know, and people love it. This will become very, very popular, as is our workshop. So we have hands-on workshop, and we have the online workshop. Next online workshop is starting very soon, the very beginning of August. And the next hands-on workshop is this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 24, 25, 26. But then there's another hands-on workshop on the Independence Day weekend, and then again in September, and then again in October, and then November we stop for monsoon, but then again December, January, February, and March. So every month is hands-on, every month is online session. Also, we have if you want to book for that, there's the Instagram, which I hope Ajit will share. It's Krishna McKenzie. On the Instagram, You have to type the comment. Any video you can type. Not any video. I think you go to the bio in the Instagram. There is a thing called link tree. In there is the to join the workshop. So you can join up there. You can sign up there, and otherwise you find a way. You contact me on Instagram. It's very easy. I'm a very approachable person, and yeah, it's a very dynamic place. And I think that it's a model that anyone else can replicate as well. A food forest, a cafe, education, celebration, music. You know, enjoying the life. That's what we're here for. Be happy. Sandosham. No sandosham, no moksha.
No moksha. Yes, so that's one of the aspects of his personality as well. He's a very humble person, He's very approachable, he's very down to earth person. So I still missed it, Krishna. So Solitude Farm is in which city? How can people
It's near
actually,
Pondicherry. We're
it's in
next to Pondicherry.
ओके सो सॉलिट्यूड इज इन पौंडीचेरी सो दोस्तों कृष्णा का नेक्स्ट ऑनलाइन सेशन आ रहा है अगस्त के बिगनिंग में आई हाईली रेकमेंड इट सो जो लोग चाहते हैं मैं कमेंट करेंगे मैं आप लोगों को सारा डिटेल दे दूंगा आई रेकमेंड ज्वाइन करें अपने कल्चर को समझने का इससे बढ़िया तरीका मुझे नहीं लगता आई थिंक कल्चर एज वी डिस्कस इट कम्स फ्रॉम द फूड यू ग्रो लोकल फूड यू ग्रो और जो बातें हम भूल चुके हैं जो हमें पता होना चाहिए हम कृष्णा से सीखने में मुझे तो अच्छा लगा और मुझे बहुत फायदा हुआ एंड आई टेंड टू इम्प्लीमेंट दिस ऑन द फार्म आई ऑलरेडी स्टार्ट आई टुक माय फर्स्ट स्टेप ये देखिए सारा ये मिट्टी का बना हुआ घर है कोई सीमेंट नहीं कुछ नहीं और धरती माँ में हम धरती माँ से आए हैं धरती माँ में समाहित हो जाएंगे तो जाने से पहले कुछ अच्छे काम करके जाएं तो उसी में मजा आएगा सो रत्ना जी कृष्णा जस्ट शेयर्ड हिज डिटेल्स ऑफ अबाउट द वर्कशॉप आई विल गिव यू द लिंक and also in the comments section, I will give the link to join his workshop. And I will also give in the description, I will give his Instagram ID. Please details
There's
of
a
Krishna.
poster. There's a poster you can share as well, Ajit. The poster I can send to you.
Yes, please. And as an aware citizen of Bharat, I think we should be doing all this, and we should be actually not only learning, as I keep saying that once you learn my microbiome course, you tend to learn the principles that the techniques I teach you. I keep telling you that you have to teach at least 100 people because we have to reach to every single household of the Bharat to get the awareness about getting rid of chemicals and growing naturally. As Krishna is teaching us so lots of people are interested, and so we'll share it. And yes, someone also said that they want seeds. So how can they get seeds? There's
So
Sanjay. Yes, is
seeds. I'm
seeds.
not selling seeds, but I have a contact that I can share for seeds. I'll share it with you.
Okay, sure. So yes, the people are saying you are an inspiration. They are thanking you, and they're saying we want details of Krishna. So lots of comments will come in, and we will in our WhatsApp group too. Krishna, we have over 1,000 people in the WhatsApp group. We'll share the details. I hope people start understanding the importance of the work you are doing, the kind of uh, legacy I will say you are leaving behind because this work has to be done. Otherwise, our generations will not survive. Forget about generation, as you said. Maybe next generation, we may not be able to see, next generation getting their own kids. So Rajni ji is saying, नमस्ते अजीत जी मैंने अपनी बालकनी में बहुत पौधे लगाए थे वीट ग्रास मिर्च सब होता था फिर 3 मंथ पहले हमने गमलों को मिट्टी चेंज कर दी सो अब सब पौधे सूख गए हैं बिकॉज ऑफ बैड सॉइल सो दैट्स द इम्पोर्टेंस यू चेंज द सॉइल एंड दैट्स व्हाट हैपेंड सो the importance of soil is amazing. So before we let you go, we will share. R.S. Mehra ji saying, kindly send me details. So Mehra ji will, I think, surely he will join your class because he is a knowledge seeker. He's a seeker. So Mehra ji will join for sure. Lots of people will, I think, I hope, will join your class. And I'm doing this because I want this to be, a movement. This movement to become bigger because this needs to be tackled right now, friends. So before we let you go, Krishna, your final words, your two-liners, your anything, not even two-liners. You want 2 minutes,
At
5 minutes?
least once a week, eat something local. Find something local and eat something local once a week. I think That's the message. Once you eat something local once a week and you enjoy it, it will become twice a week. Then it will become 3 times a week. And then you will see that the local food is your menu. And that's the start of reclaiming your, your health and the health of the culture as well as the ecology. Yeah.
थैंक यू सो मच कृष्णा, धन्यवाद आपका, आप आए। और
Dhanyavad,
आप
dhanyavad, namaste, hari
नमस्ते।
om.
और मेरी दिली ख्वाहिश है कि मैं भी कभी आपके सॉलिट्यूड फार्म पौंडीचेरी में आऊँगा डेफिनेटली। ऑस्ट्रेलिया में मैंने आपको बताया था, बिल मॉरिसन का एक डिसाइपल का, हिज डिसाइपल बिल मॉरिसन इज अ पर्माकल्चर एक्सपर्ट फ्रॉम ऑस्ट्रेलिया। I had visited that place because this seed in my brain has been there for 3-4 years about permaculture, and that culminated in you having my guru as the permaculture guru, because I've been researching lots of gurus about permaculture, but I was fortunate enough to find you. Thank you so much. We'll keep in touch. Thank
ठीक
you
है,
so much. Thank you.
बाद में बात करेंगे।
You speak perfect Hindi, Krishna.
थोड़ा मालूम है, दिल में बात है नहीं।
दिल में बात।
Okay, I'll
Okay.
send you links, huh? Take care, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Thank you so much.
थैंक यू कृष्णा। यस, सो फ्रेंड्स, कैसा लगा आज आपका मेरा ये शो? आज इंग्लिश में करना पड़ा मुझे क्योंकि कृष्णा से ठीक से बात करनी थी। दिल में तो उसके हिंदी है, वो बोल रहा है, तो आपको समझना चाहिए हमारे दिल में कब आएगा हिंदी, हमारे दिल में कब आएगा हिंदुस्तान, हमारे दिल में कब आएगा भारत। तो वो भारत की शुरुआत उस बीज से होती है जो देसी बीज है। और मैंने भी अपने फार्म पे कल यहाँ पे लगाए हैं, जो भी किसी का आया भी था, ये टाइम है लगाने का। तो देसी वैरायटी के सीड्स मैंने मंगाए स्पेशल, क्योंकि देसी सीड से ही बात आगे बनेगी। ये हाइब्रिड सीड से बात नहीं आगे बनेगी। हमें अगर आगे बढ़ना है तो देसी भारतीय देसी बीज हेयरलूम सीड्स पे आना ही पड़ेगा। और मैंने स्टार्ट किया, आप भी स्टार्ट करिए, जैसा कृष्णा ने बोला। सिर्फ 2-3 गमलों में स्टार्ट करिए और देखिए ये रेवोल्यूशन। जैसा वो बोल रहे थे कि 1 स्ट्रॉ रेवोल्यूशन, एक स्ट्रॉ, एक एक धान का एक स्ट्रॉ, एक उसका तुपका बोलते हैं, क्या बोलते हैं उसका, एक पत्ती गिरने से कहते हैं रेवोल्यूशन शुरू हो जाता है, खेत में गिराने से। तो आपका एक पॉट बहुत बड़ा रेवोल्यूशन खड़ा कर सकता है, इसको छोटा मत समझिए आप। तो हम स्टार्ट करेंगे ये अपना पर्माकल्चर पे फार्म पे और डिटेल डिस्कशन, और आपको दिखाएंगे फार्म पे हम क्या क्या कर रहे हैं। तो कैसा लगा जरूर कमेंट करिएगा, सब्सक्राइब करके जाइएगा। मैं अनेक तरह की चीज़ें आपके लिए लेकर आता हूँ कि आपका नॉलेज बेस में बढ़ा सकते। द आइडिया इज टू एजुकेट यू इन अ वे दैट कैन एनरिच योर लाइफ, जो आपकी ज़िंदगी को बदलने की ताकत रखता है। मैं वही चीज़ें करने की कोशिश करता हूँ। तो आज के लिए इतना ही, अगले से फिर मिलेंगे। जय हिंद, जय भारत, स्वस्थ हिंद, स्वस्थ भारत, वंदे मातरम, जय माइक्रोबायोम।